What's up, everybody? This is Stephen Williams, founder and president of the creditrepairshop.com. In today's video, I'm going to talk about debt being released on the market. This is what it's coming down to. All of these credit card companies, payday loan companies, different jewelry stores, they're selling their debt off that they had sitting around from people that didn't pay. The debt, the majority of it is past statute of limitations, and I wanted to make a quick statement to someone who posted a comment in my YouTube comments off of one of the videos. They said the majority of the debt that is out there is not past statute of limitations. Well, we can look here. This group of people, all of these people here, they're about to receive a notice to try to collect debt where the majority of it is past statute of limitations. Yeah. Now, yes, the majority of new debt is not past statute of limitations on debt that had recently went bad for an individual, or, where they didn't pay a company. But I'm talking about this here. Just looking at this, this proves that companies will go after people for debt that is past statute of limitations. And quickly, just to tell you what you should do, is the first thing you should do when you get a letter in the mail from any debt collector, is to check when the original charge-off date was, and then the next thing is to look at your state statute on debt, on what is the statute of limitations for debt, for contract debt in your state. It's different for every state. Most states are in the 3 to 6 year range. There's a few states that are 10 years, and there's one state that's 15 years. If it falls within that time frame, you don't have to argue back and forth about owing the debt or about who was the original creditor, this and that. You just tell the debt collector that this debt that they're trying to collect is past the legal statute of limitations according to the laws in my state, and that I demand that you cease all collection activities. I mean, I paraphrase, but that's basically all you have to say, and they will stop if you do it the right way. Now, this does not count debt that is a judgment. A judgment can last for 20 years. I'm not talking about a debt that is a judgment. I'm talking about fresh, or not fresh debt, but a debt that someone is trying to collect that has not been in the judgment phase. All of these debts here are going to be purchased by debt collectors. So obviously, I won't say obviously, the next thing that you should do, just in case you don't know, and there are people that don't know what to do, so I'm going to tell you what the next step is if the debt is not past the legal statute of limitations, you need to do what's called a debt validation. I have videos on my YouTube channel about how to do a debt validation. You want to do that because you want to make them know that you are aware that they purchased a debt, because what they'll try to do is to trick you up and make it like the original creditor is trying to come after you for the money. That's what they want to do. They want to trick you up, because you could potentially not have to pay that debt even if it's not past the statute of limitations, solely because they don't have all of the information to prove that the debt is yours. Just having your name is not proving the debt is yours. Just having your Social Security does not prove that the debt is yours. Just having the last billing statement does not prove that the debt is yours. They must prove every aspect of that debt. They must prove, number one, the original contract that you signed for that particular debt. If it's a credit card debt, they must have all of the charges, the signatures, everything, the payment history, the disclosures of the interest rates that you are being charged, the balance. The balance must be balanced against all of your payments that you paid. You have a right to get all of that information. They don't call it accounting for nothing. They must account for the debt that they're trying to collect from you. But what most people do is they just look at, okay, they have a sheet and it says I owed this amount. You knew you owed that amount, but what you didn't know is that you have a legal right when that debt has been sold to get all of that information. Now, if the debt wasn't sold, that's a different story. The original creditor has different legal standing on how they can collect the debt from you because they are the original creditor. I'm focusing on debt collectors that purchase debt. When they purchase that debt, they must get all of that information and then provide it to you. And where I see a lot of people run into this problem, and I see other videos, and someone was going back and forth with me about why would I give them any information about the debt? Make them prove everything. You are making them prove everything, but you can't make them prove something when you just say that it's not you, because when you go into court, if you get summons to court, and I have a summons right here for someone for American Express. When you get summons in the court, they're going to ask you a list of questions. They're going to be like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and you think that those are just statements that they're making, but they're actually questions. They're allegations against you with the debt. Some of them may just be simple, like it's just saying your name. Others is going to get into the debt, and this is where the door opens. Is when the door will open for you if you happen to have a summons and it's a debt collector that purchased the debt. The door opens right there for you to be able to do a debt validation, to ask for all of the documentation. And if they don't provide it, it will be thrown out of court. But if you just walk into court and say you just need to prove it, well, what do you want us to prove? What are you disputing on our summons that you're required to answer according to the laws of any state? So now that's why I'm saying when you are facing debt collectors, they try to trick you up. Number one is to not notify you that a debt is past statute of limitations. Number two, they try to trick you up by making you think that the original creditor is trying to come after you for the money. Number three, when you go into court, they will also try that trick and make, even in a way, imply to the court that they are suing on the behalf of the original creditor when they're not. And when you start doing a debt validation, that's when you can make them really dismiss their own case, because they've prepared the court citation or the court summons the wrong way. The debt collector prepared it the wrong way, and you could catch them doing that by doing a debt validation. Because in the debt validation, you also will ask, how do I owe you the money? And then if they try to state that the original creditor is coming for the money, you can look right on your credit reports and it'll say if it was sold. You can ask them also, you should ask them, did they buy the debt? Or did another debt collector buy the debt and they assume the debt to try to collect it because they're a debt collector in the area that you live in? All of these things need to be answered. So let's go into, and also I'm going to talk about something with Santander at the end of this video, but let's quickly just go through. We have, and I think this is a repeat, they haven't sold this debt yet, but it's 45,000 people. Charge-off date is average charge-off date is 2007, average balance $5,300, $243 million. $243 million, 45,810 accounts. Credit card company. This one here, another credit card, $55 million, 30,000 accounts. 2007 charge off. And you can just look down the list. I'm not going to call them all off, but you can look down the list. This is debt that they're going to come after people for. These here are auto loans. Look at this. Average balance, $14,000. These three right here could potentially be some Santander debt up in here. $14,000. Charge-off date, 2008. Past statute of limitations. But people are going to get a letter in the mail stating that you owe $14,000, and they're going to panic. They're not going to know what to do. Maybe they just got a job, and they can't afford to have this debt collection on their credit. They can't have a judgment. We had a Secret Service person a few years back that was applying to the Secret Service, and he had to get a judgment taken care of on his credit, because he said, I cannot be a Secret Service agent with a judgment on my credit. I can't. I have to get it settled. And so what people could end up doing, because they can't afford to have that, and look at the times that we're living in right now, that they will make a poor decision and not know their rights on what they can ask a debt collector to do, to prove. And that's what I'm educating people about. And so you can see here, all three of these are auto debt deficiencies. We have more credit card debt, credit card, jewelry store debt, non-sufficient funds, credit card, non-sufficient funds, 2006, credit card. So if you get any of this, you know, follow my instructions. You can make this debt disappear because it's mostly going to be past statute of limitations. Now, to get into the Santander information, I want to put a timestamp just in case someone wants to get directly to it. I've learned from I don't want to say secret, but I know someone who knows someone that works in the company, two different departments of the company. I'm not going to get into what those departments are, but this is what they stated. And I can understand their bias because they are working for their employers, so they don't really feel that they're doing anything wrong. But number one, there's a new lawsuit already in the pipeline. Haven't been settled yet. What I'm thinking is that that's going to be the remaining states that were not covered in the original 34-state settlement. The next thing is that the individual stated that there's other lawsuits that are also in the pipeline, and that around there they just say it's just the cost of doing business. You know, they believe that it's made them more profitable from having the bad press. It's made them stick out because people will go to them because they feel that they don't have no other alternative on getting approved for a car. Well, now let me get into that right now. Someone posted a comment that said, Santander said yes when the other dealers or when the other banks said no. You don't know that they shopped your credit with any other lender. You don't know that. You're only thinking that they did. And even if they did, let me just tell you a secret about financing cars. You don't have to take my word for it. You can look online. You can search other videos where you will see finance people with car dealers. They'll tell you the real deal when you get in that finance room. Let me tell you something. When they sell a car, they make money various ways. They make money, number one, by selling you the car. The difference between them buying it at auction and what they marked it up to sell sell it to you for. The next way that they make money is by adding on stuff to the car, which is in the Santander settlement, they call that power booking, where they threw things on the car that were really worthless. The other part of that a lot of people don't know about is that they make money when they sell the loan to a company. When they go to Santander and they say, we're going to bring you the loan. We want you to take the loan. See, when they do applications and they send it out to all of the finance companies, what the finance companies do is they call them back and say, hey, we want to buy the loan. We want to buy the loan. We want to buy it. We'll give you this. We'll give you that. So they're going to make money by just giving it to one of the finance companies. That's where they make a killing. Depending on the interest rate that they sell you at, they're going to make a killing on doing that. And that's why when I saw that comment from that individual, it got me a little steamed, because I was like, how do you even know? They don't tell you. When they come back out of that room, they just say, like, we're doing you a favor. We got you approved with Santander, and this is going to be your interest rate. You know your credit is messed up, but if you put, $1,000, $2,000 down, we think we can pull the deal. You don't know that the other people gave an offer. How do you know? How do you know any other finance company, unless you went directly to them and got a yes or no directly from them? How do you know? How do you know? In my life, I've been in all of the different phases of buying a car, from being a young man in my teens, when I was 19 years old, and I bought my first car when I was in the Army, or 18 years old, 18 years old, buying my first car when I was in the military and getting ripped off. I got ripped off so bad, I bought a Chevy Cavalier where the frame was bent. They can't even sell a car like that now. Well, I've seen some, but they can't legally even sell a car. I bought a Chevy Cavalier, payments up the wazoo. We're talking back in 1988. And another bad part about it was the frame was bent and I didn't know about it. And after I would drive the car for 6 months, the car would start bending. And I would have to take it to this guy to unbend the frame, and so I can drive my car without looking crazy for another 6 months. That's what I went through when I was 18 years old. But you don't know. So I know what it feels like to be taken advantage of. I had a high interest rate. I was in the United States Army, so no matter what they were taking the payment out of my paycheck. No matter what. And that check was almost eaten up. That payment was eaten up. At that time, I was only making like $700 a month being in the United States Army. And they were taking out, probably with insurance, close to $300 and some dollars. Like half my paycheck. So I know how it feels to be on that end. And when I was 20 years old and with my wife, I remember getting taken advantage of again on a car loan. It wasn't as bad as that one. At least it was a better car, but we still got taken advantage of. And then I remember after I got my business going and we started getting educated about money and doing things the right way, I remember going into a car dealer and we were like thinking the car salesman tried to put so much pressure on us to get the car. He said they got us approved, and we looked at the deal and we said no. We said no, we'll stay with our car, and he got upset. And I can understand if you get upset because you thought you had a deal, but it's still our choice. It's still our choice to turn that down. But they make it like you have no choice. The game is set up for you to think you don't have a choice. I know. And then in my later years, well, now and in the early 2000s, late 1990s, when I have money and things, I can walk into a place, excuse me, walk into a place and buy a car for cash, or if I wanted to finance it, they give you a 2.9% interest rate. They tell you don't even have to put anything down. They give you the car. When you're making your payments, like 90% is going to the car instead of to the interest rate. And that's where you start seeing that really the dealer is making a little bit of money on the car the way it's supposed to be. They make some money on the car, and they make good money on the car when they sell it. They make money with the extras, the warranties. They make extra when they sell the loan to a bank. But they're not supposed to be selling you up the creek with these high interest rates. I bet everyone that got those high interest rates wish that they would have just walked away. Wish that they would have just had the strength within them to just walk away. And I understand it. I remember when we walked away from that car, and I really wanted it. Was a Tahoe. I think I was like 23 years old. We wanted that Chevy Tahoe. Or I think it looked like the Tahoe. I don't know if it was the Tahoe back then. This was way back, 93 time. But we walked away. And we learned a lesson when we walked away, is that you get what you want to get. And if you can't get it the way you want to get it, don't get it, because it's a trap. We're going to be having an update on Santander. I'm going to find out the details of the new lawsuit that's in the pipeline. It's very quiet on that right now. Very quiet, because they're probably negotiating a settlement. If you need help with your credit, please visit us at thecreditrepairshop.com. If you need your credit reports and scores, please go to the link below or the one that you see here. The number 3 scores.com. I really appreciate that. That's another way that I also support this channel. I really appreciate all the comments. I'm trying to get to all of them. I try to answer them in the videos here also. So until next time, this is Stephen Williams, founder and president of thecreditrepairshop.com. Thank you.